Here are the most recent deaths in the national news, as reported at Legacy.com the second week of January 2024. In case you missed it, our 2023 year-end tribute is now available. We look back together and remember the year's biggest obituary headlines. Click the Legacy.com YouTube channel to watch that video today. Actress Cindy Morgan died in December 2023 at her home in Lake Worth Beach, Florida. She died of natural causes at the age of 69. She was well known for her film debut, playing Lacey Underall in Caddyshack. Morgan is also being remembered for Tron, in which she played the dual role of Laura and Yori. Activist and musician Klee Benally died December 30th, 2023 in Arizona at the age of 48. He advocated for Native American rights and the protection of their sacred sites. Benally is also being remembered for his music with the punk band Blackfire, which he co-founded. A note to remember, sometimes personal information such as someone's cause of death is not announced immediately by their family or the authorities. When a cause of death has not been officially announced, we do not report on rumors. Every family has a right to their privacy. Senator Herbet Kohl died December 27, 2023 in Milwaukee. He died after a brief illness at the age of 88. He represented Wisconsin in the U.S. Senate from 1989 to 2013, where he chaired the Special Committee on Aging. He is also being remembered as the former owner of the Milwaukee Bucks, the co-founder of Kohl's department stores, and a notable Wisconsin philanthropist. Kohl served in the U.S. Army Reserve for 6 years. Actress Vinie Burrows died December 25, 2023 at a hospice facility in New York City at the age of 99. She appeared on Broadway in such shows as The Wisteria Trees and The Skin of Our Teeth. Burrows is also being remembered for her one-woman off-Broadway shows, including Walk Together Children and Sister Sister. She was honored with an Obie Award for Lifetime Achievement. Actress Glynis Johns died January 4, 2024 in Los Angeles. She died of natural causes at the age of 100. She was named as a Disney legend for her role in Mary Poppins as Winifred Banks. She sang the song Sister Suffragette. Johns is being remembered for many roles in movies, TV, and on stage, including her Tony Award-winning performance in A Little Night Music and such films as Miranda and Superstar. Actor Christian Oliver died January 4, 2024 in the Caribbean Sea off the coast of Bequia. He died in a plane crash at the age of 51. He played Brian Keller in Saved by the Bell: The New Class. Oliver is also being remembered for performances in such movies as Speed Racer, Valkyrie, and The Babysitter's Club. Football player Jack Squirek died January 5, 2024 after an illness at the age of 64. He was a linebacker for the Los Angeles Raiders in the 1980s after playing college football at the University of Illinois. Squirek is being remembered for a surprise interception and touchdown in Super Bowl XVIII that helped the Raiders defeat Washington. Singer and actress Sarah Rice died January 6, 2024 in New York City. She died of cancer at the age of 68. She originated the role of Johanna in Sweeney Todd on Broadway. Rice is also being remembered for performances in shows like A Little Night Music and The Phantom of the Opera. Musician Iasos died January 6, 2024 at the age of 76. He was a pioneer of New Age music in the 1970s, creating new sounds with his 1975 debut album Interdimensional Music. Iasos is being remembered for his celestial tunes, now classics of New Age and ambient music. Composer and filmmaker Phill Niblock died January 8, 2024, in New York City at the age of 90. He created experimental music that reflected his artistic vision, music without melody, harmony, or rhythm. Niblock is also being remembered as a filmmaker who used his own music in his avant-garde films. Soccer player Franz Beckenbauer died January 7, 2024, at his home. He died of natural causes at the age of 78. He was a German soccer legend, one of only 3 people to win a World Cup as both a player and a coach. Beckenbauer is also being remembered for his seasons on the New York Cosmos, when he played on a powerhouse team alongside Brazilian legend Pelé. Actor Aiden Canto died January 8, 2024, of appendiceal cancer at the age of 42. He starred on the crime drama The Cleaning Lady, playing gangster Armand Morales. Canto is also being remembered for his performances in Designated Survivor, X-Men: Days of Future Past, and other movies and TV shows. Amalia Navs died January 9, 2024, after an illness at the age of 78. She was the mother of former First Lady Melania Trump. Navs is being remembered for her dedication to her family. Musician James Kottak died January 9, 2024, in Louisville, Kentucky, at the age of 61. He was the drummer for the hard rock band Scorpions for 20 years, longer than any of the band's other drummers. Kottak is also being remembered as a founding member of Kingdom Come and a drummer for such bands as The Cult and Warrant. Musician Dell Palmer died January 5, 2024, at the age of 71. He was a longtime collaborator with Kate Bush, working on several of her early records. The two were also romantically linked for years. Palmer is being remembered for playing bass, engineering Bush's records, and programming drum machine tracks for such hits as Running Up That Hill. Artist and game designer Jennell Jaquays died January 10, 2024, of complications from Guillain-Barré syndrome at the age of 67. She contributed to the early development of Dungeons & Dragons. Her looping, interlocking approach to dungeon design is still used by designers today. Jaquays is also being remembered for her work in video games. She was a level designer for such popular games as Quake 2, Quake 3 Arena, and Age of Empires 3. Actor and singer David Soul died January 4, 2024, in London at the age of 80. He was a 1970s icon, starring on Starsky and Hutch and releasing a #1 single with Don't Give Up on Us. Soul is also being remembered for TV performances in Here Come the Brides and the miniseries adaptation of Stephen King's Salem's Lot. In addition to featuring current deaths in the news, Legacy.com also honors the lives and legacies of notable people who died in the past. Here are some of this week's anniversaries. 2 years ago this week, actor Sidney Poitier died at the age of 94. He was a Hollywood legend in films like Lilies of the Field, Guess Who's Coming to Dinner, and In the Heat of the Night. Singer and actor David Bowie was born 77 years ago this week. He died in January 2016, 8 years ago this week, at the age of 69. His many classic songs include Changes, Ziggy Stardust, and Let's Dance. Singer and actress Naomi Jud was born 78 years ago this week. She died in April 2022 at the age of 76. With her daughter, Winona, she was half of the Judds, who had more than a dozen #1 country singles in the 1980s. Boxer Joe Frazier was born 80 years ago this week. He died in November 2011 at the age of 67. He won a gold medal at the 1964 Olympics, held the undisputed heavyweight title for 3 years, and was the first boxer to defeat Muhammad Ali. Actress Bonnie Franklin was born 80 years ago this week. She died in March 2013 at the age of 69. She was best known as the star of the long-running sitcom One Day at a Time. Singer and songwriter Scott McKenzie was born 85 years ago this week. He died in August 2012 at the age of 73. He sang the 1960s classic San Francisco, Be Sure to Wear Some Flowers in Your Hair. Actor Sal Mineo was born 85 years ago this week. He died in February 1976 at the age of 37. He was nominated for an Oscar at 17 for his performance in Rebel Without a Cause. Actress Susanna York was born 85 years ago this week. She died in January 2011 at the age of 72. She was known for movies like Tom Jones and They Shoot Horses, Don't They? Musician and actor Elvis Presley was born 89 years ago this week. He died in August 1977 at the age of 42. He was called the King of Rock and Roll, with enduring hits like Hound Dog and Burning Love. Musician Earl Scruggs was born 100 years ago this week. He died in March 2012 at the age of 88. He was a pioneer of bluegrass, best known for his banjo instrumental Foggy Mountain Breakdown. Every week in the United States, flags are lowered to half-staff to honor the lives of Americans whose communities are mourning their loss. Here are the most recent half-staff memorial flag honors. Flags in Minnesota have been lowered to honor the memory of U.S. Army Sergeant Cade Michael Wolf. Flags in Arkansas have been lowered to honor the memory of Stone County Sheriff's Deputy Justin Smith, who was killed in the line of duty. Flags in Massachusetts have been lowered to honor the memory of Brigadier General Mark C. Glenn, Massachusetts Army National Guard. Flags in Iowa have been lowered to honor the memory of Amir Jolliffe and in support of students, families, teachers, and staff at Perry High School and the Perry community. Flags in Georgia have been lowered to honor the memory of Coweta County Deputy Eric Anthony Minix, who died in the line of duty. Flags in Pennsylvania have been lowered to honor the memory of Steelton Fire Department Chief Gene Vance. Flags in Michigan have been lowered to honor the memory of former state senator Doug Cruz. You can read more about the lives of the people featured in this video on Legacy.com. At Legacy.com, any family can publish an obituary in honor of a loved one's memory online and in local newspapers everywhere. Just visit Legacy.com and select your local community. You can also follow Legacy.com on Facebook and subscribe to our channel here on YouTube to stay up to date on national news deaths.